Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Bite Box podcast. I am thrilled for this conversation to come. I'd love to introduce and welcome you all to Lauren Stiebing, who is the founder and CEO of LS International. She is really a powerhouse. Lauren runs a talent agency that really connects and is a deep industry expert in the FMCG CPG world, but I consider her beyond sort of an influencer, but really someone who's a thought leader in this space. So I'm really excited, Lauren, to hear your perspective. Many of the conversations that we have here at Beyond the Buy Box are really thinking about for brands that put so much blood, sweat, and tears into building healthy growth for any organization, but also delivering these exceptional consumer experiences can be really hard to hold on to a level of control. And so I'm excited to dive in, from your perspective in thinking about as you work with a variety of different clients for a variety of different executive level roles, maybe just take us through what does it take for talent in navigating this challenging kind of world of digital commerce.
hmm Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, happy to dip into a few different topics today. But yeah, I would say from the talent itself, I think anyone that's been working in the digital space over the past 10 years knows how quickly things are changing, how adaptable they need to be. So I would say talent within the digital function are usually very adaptable and very able to kind of shift, learn new skills, and really figure out how different pieces of the puzzle fit together. Their agility is to be admired as well. So I would say a lot of the changes that are happening are quite regular and usual for digital talent.
Yes. Um, and for clients that come to you and, how do they articulate what the biggest challenges they're looking to solve for their organization? And what do you advise, or what are some of the common things that you're seeing lately in terms of how to make the talent strategy work best and whatever those top challenges are really across the commerce industry?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, in terms of digital commerce landscape, that's fundamentally shifted from being a sales channel to a primary growth engine for most consumer brands. So I think, if we look back many years ago, you were really looking for, I think what brands came to us first for was that Amazon person. The shift that's different now is they really need architects for the entire digital ecosystem. So, really, that shift from tactical executors who can manage a 1P vendor relationship to really having strong digital commerce leaders who are, really orchestrating different platforms in terms of marketplace, direct to consumer, retail media, traditional retail simultaneously. So I think, depending on the size of the business, these are businesses that are, over 300 million in terms of their digital commerce revenue. So how are they combining and thinking about building infrastructure from scratch is really someone nowadays who really thinks like a general manager, not just a channel manager. So I think what they're really looking for most when it comes to these type of people are really that hybrid experience. So someone who really understands brand building as well as performance marketing, as well, really 1P and 3P mastery. So really understanding the full Amazon ecosystem and how looking at mastering direct import, subscription models, retail media really integrates together. And then I would say, really cross functional collaborators. So not just executors, but that's just to give you an idea of, the type of talent that consumer goods companies are coming to us for, specifically in the digital commerce space.
Yeah, and it all makes sense because the way to go to market in this arena oftentimes requires tagging in a variety of functional partners to help because everything is like this connected web. I'm curious, kind of building on that from a candidate lens when you're talking and or giving advice to other aspiring leaders in the industry that want to continue to meet this challenge that we know exists? I know you mentioned sort of the general manager mindset, the cross functional. Are there specific types of experiences that you see really are becoming more and more critical, probably more than it was even in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the skills that really matter these days are definitely going to be supply chain fluency, so really understanding how to work with 3PLs, manage direct import programs, stakeholder management. So, being able to speak with the executive team and helping them to not panic when growth isn't linear. So understanding that, a healthy business sometimes means making decisions that are going to hurt the quarter's numbers to really protect the long-term brand value and how you're managing those senior stakeholders through that. And then I would say like operational pragmatism. So knowing really when to outsource versus build in-house. So I would say those are kind of areas where we've seen our clients and well, our clients demanding, but also candidates who are excelling really having those skill sets.
I love that. And I can see where it's really the operational end to end. There's the strategic sort of enrollment, stakeholder engagement, but then knowing the ins and outs of everything all the way down to the point of delivery. Maybe kind of zooming back into the organization, where have you seen clients that come to really evolve their setup of digital commerce
Mhm.
organizationally? I come from a place where that arena was very much squarely in sales with heavy matrix sort of influence across every arena. Have you seen it evolve and
Mhm.
change? I'd love to, kind of get a peek into what you're seeing from that.
Yes, I think those teams that are high performing teams have really three essential profiles. So they're really going to have the visionary, so the strategic brain, that's the person that's really sees the 3-year roadmap. For example, someone who can articulate how TikTok shop fits into an omni-channel strategy before it's obvious. The second one being the executor or the builder, so, someone that's going to be implementing systems, creating playbooks. For example, the person who's really going to set up the direct import operations or builds the retail media frameworks. And then the third is going to be the operator or the optimizer. So, really, that's going to be the day to day excellence, continuous improvement. For example, someone that is running the daily bid optimization and A B testing content. I think the point is if you're only hiring executors, you'll win today, but not prepare for tomorrow. If you're only hiring visionaries, nothing will get implemented. So, really, the best teams need to have all three working together.
I'm going to double down and cast my vote. All of the cast my vote, all of the above as well. And it's really interesting because you mentioned sort of the win right now, but not for the long term. Several guests that I've had the chance to talk with, speak to prioritization and kind of the choices that you have to make that might not feel perfect in the moment, but if it's with well intent to set up for that mid long term, I think it's great, perspective.
And I also think, really those that are successful are really investing in those translators who are going to, bridge two different worlds. So I think the way that most companies have been built is through silos. There's brand marketing, digital commerce, and traditional sales. You see that shift happening where what they're looking for now, people who have worked both brand side and agency side, for example, leaders who can translate brand positioning into Amazon A plus content, or operators who understand how retail media supports brand building. So I think that kind of bridging and translation is very important these days.
Especially when there's lots of smart investments that have to be made, and with a lot more probably options and avenues for brands and companies to make their investments. And I can see where that's like rising in importance even more so. To be a translator to kind of connect all of those things together. Our community is is fabulously growing. And I'm learning that we have a variety of folks that, listen and want to learn from a various seats, from supply chain to the brand side, several in kind of the e-commerce realm, sales, agency side. Recognize that we have a wide audience. If you could leave us with one piece of advice in, thinking about the talent strategy and equation, what would that be for us?
Yeah, I think both from a company perspective as well as the talent itself, I think that the brand equity is very important. So it's important to note that, the equity erodes slowly through many small decisions. So keep that in mind in terms of when you're making decisions and what's going to be best. I think keep in mind that protecting brand equity is paramount, and also that those candidates who succeed aren't just operators, but they're people who really understand that every decision on Amazon is either elevated or degraded in terms of the brand equity. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that, what is the DNA of the brand, and make sure that you're always staying true to that. And that will help to keep you successful in that business, but also as you go throughout your career.
I love that. I love that reminder because it's very tricky, especially sometimes when you're in the throes of the execution and the fire drill of the moment, that you make choices that can slip away from taking you off what your brand ambition is. So I love that piece of advice very much.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the outreach that we get as well, are going to be, we need someone scrappy who can build something from scratch. So I think as you're having this entrepreneurial mindset, obviously some businesses are much more entrepreneurial than others, but I think because of the speed, it's important for everyone to have that, entrepreneurial mindset. So I would say, having a bias for action, being able to move fast through ambiguity, and really adaptability will continue to be important, not only in digital functions but across all of the organization, no matter their size. So I would say just keeping that in mind when you come to work every day. How do you keep that entrepreneurial spirit, a bias for action, and that adaptability alive? And that's for all small, medium, and large organizations.
For my team listening right now, too, it's for all of us and a good reminder for me as we charge ahead. So thank you for sharing that. And
Of
thank you
course.
for sharing your perspective, giving us a little bit of a sneak peek into the conversations that you're having with a variety of candidates out there, as well as organizations who come to you to find the best of the best as they charge forward in broad commerce arena. So thank you for the conversation and sharing your
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.